It is now 6 days after the historic election, and there's a lot going on. I mean, Trump's already forming his cabinet. He's already meeting with Obama, Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan, um, and there's a lot of speculation about who his cabinet will be. And I read a thing where they're like, Trump's cabinet will be worse than you thought. And they're talking, and there's petitions going around signed by 3 million Hillary supporters and protesters and rioters, where the Electoral College should give Trump, should take away electoral votes for Trump, because I think 18 or 19 states get to vote whichever way their Electoral College. So let's say Trump wins those states, those electors don't have to remain faithful and could vote for Hillary. And then there's a counter petition that's going around by change.org or some website like that. So it's very interesting, but it's funny how they're like, we got to get rid of the Electoral College. It's funny how right when their candidate loses, they say we need to get rid of the Electoral College. Meanwhile, if their candidate won, they would be like, oh, we love the Electoral College. And then it would be Trump supporters that aren't happy. So it's completely hypocritical. And so I just want to say, these protesters, these rioters, they need to go home, go to school, get a job. They got too much free time on their hands. And I saw a thing on Craigslist saying, help needed, no experience needed, $15 to $22 an hour to protest Trump's election win. So they're being paid probably by George Soros. And I think Obama or Hillary should come out and say, these protests have to stop. And people like, Trump should come out. Trump's not the president yet. Their beloved leader, Barack, is still the president. So he should come out and say, stop this. He already said we need a peaceful transition to power. Yet they're rioting, destroying businesses, buildings, beating up police, beating up Trump supporters. I mean, it's disgusting. But I want to devote this video to doing some Trump cabinet predictions and some of my own personal opinions and what I wish out of this. So first, I want to start with Chief of Staff, because that's the most they're talking about, because it's like they're the president's top advisor, and he's in charge of the whole staff. They're talking about Reince Priebus, who's the chairman of the Republican National Committee. He knows a lot of the GOP lawmakers in Congress. He's good friends with most of them, and I think he contributed a lot to Trump's win. Now they're also talking about Steve Bannon. He's from Breitbart, and he's more of an outsider. He goes against insiders. He is against the establishment. So I could see how Trump would pick Steve Bannon, because Trump's against the establishment. But for me personally, I would pick Reince Priebus, because Reince knows most of the people in politics, because he's the Republican National Chairman. And so that's for Chief of Staff. Next is Secretary of State. Some names that were floating around were John Bolton, a former UN ambassador who's strictly Republican, and I don't know about him. I don't know that much about him, but I heard that he's done some good, and we'll see. The other one is, they're talking about Newt Gingrich, former Speaker of the House, and I could see him as a Secretary of State. But so those are the two they're mainly talking about right now. I mean, Trump could pull out a wild card and name some random person that nobody's ever heard of before. I don't know. Next is Secretary of Defense. They're talking about Jeff Sessions. He's the Alabama senator who was the first person to ever endorse Trump. So Trump's definitely going to give him a cabinet position. Now they're also talking about Mike Flynn, but Mike Flynn might also be either for Homeland Security, but he's a lieutenant general, so maybe. For me personally, I would pick, for Secretary of Defense, I would pick probably Jeff Sessions, because there's nobody really they're talking about for Homeland Security. So Mike Flynn should be Homeland Security since he knows about, like, he's been in the Army and he was a lieutenant general and everything. So then next to Attorney General, they're talking about Rudy Giuliani, former mayor of New York. I personally like Trey Gowdy, but they're not really talking that much about Trey Gowdy. They also mentioned Chris Christie, which is my governor, but I don't know if Chris Christie would be a good attorney general considering Bridgegate and all that other stuff. But I think Trey Gowdy I would pick because he fought against Hillary and her corruption. He did the Benghazi investigation, all these investigations into Hillary. So I think he's good, and he doesn't back down. So that's what we need. And Loretta Lynch and Eric Holder have been a waste of 8 years of justice in our country. Treasurer, Secretary, they're talking about Stephen Mnuchin. If I said that correctly, it's Trump's finance chairman. And I looked at a thing where Trump spent not less than half as Hillary did on the campaign, and he won, which is amazing. She spent $1.3 billion on this campaign. Holy crap. And she lost. Oh my God. Now, Secretary of Health and Human Services, they mentioned Ben Carson, but also they're talking about Secretary of Education might be Ben Carson, but Ben, I think since he was a doctor, maybe Health and Human Services, he could reform and replace, repeal and replace Obamacare, get rid of it, start a whole new thing. Now, Homeland Security, they didn't really talk much about it, but I would personally pick Mike Flynn. They said something about David Clark, who's a sheriff, but I would not pick that. I mean, yeah, he's a sheriff and he's been very loyal to Trump, but Homeland Security, he's a police officer. I think for Homeland Security, we need someone with military expertise, not police officer expertise. Not saying that there's anything wrong with him. I think he's a great guy. He's a great sheriff, and so Secretary of VA, Jeff Miller. They're talking about. I don't really know much about him, but he's a representative of Florida. He's also the chairman of VA, the committee. So these are all speculation, and hopefully we at least find out who his chief of staff will be. Now, they said Christie should get a role, but they took him down off the transition team. They lowered him. But after Bridgegate, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where he would be. They said something about Commerce Secretary. I was like, what type of expertise does Chris Christie have in commerce? But I mean, this is all speculation, so we'll see. Let's hope these Democratic rioters they stop. And I think it's a shame Obama hasn't told his minions to stop yet, but it's probably all started by them anyways. I mean, Hillary's campaign, they're not claiming involvement, but we know they probably are. I read a thing, I forget who was posted by, a thing a week before the election saying that if Trump wins, there will be riots in major cities and they will burn down places and stuff like that. And that's exactly what's happening. Exactly. They predicted it. But if that petition where the Electoral College takes away votes from Trump and give it to Clinton, then I guarantee you Trump supporters, there will be war. We're going to go to war against Hillary supporters because we won this. they said that Trump won. Now they're saying he won Michigan also, so 306 delegates. If they, I mean, not 306 delegates, 306 electoral votes. So if they give him less than that, then there's going to be war. I guarantee you. At least give him more than Hillary where he wins. Because they don't actually vote on this until December 19th, which is... I just hope everything calms down. People have to realize that this is not the end of the world. This is actually the beginning. And we have had bad presidents. Look at the Republicans. They didn't just cry and scream and throw temper tantrums when Obama won. And I read a thing where the same white working class that voted for Obama voted for Trump. Yet now, this time, since they voted for Obama first, but now they're voting for Trump, they're racist because they didn't vote for Hillary. It's all the media, and the media is going to be against Trump for the rest of his life. I mean, his first term, maybe even his second term if he runs. I don't know. Who knows what he will do. If he's successful in the 4 years, then possibly you could be looking at 8 years with Trump. If the Democrats put up a fight, then maybe not. But we'll see. It's an interesting time. Yeah.